Today we're making French onion soup from scratch. Hi everyone, welcome to Black Cat Kitchen. I hope you're doing well. Today we're making one of my favorite winter soups, French onion. I love the sweet caramelized onion in that rich beefy broth with that gorgeous melty Gruyere cheese on top and that beautiful crunchy bread in between. I'm going to show you how to make the beef stock from scratch, but you can use a good quality store-bought beef stock. So let's jump right in. See the description below for a list of ingredients.
I'm using about 2.5 pounds of beef shank for this recipe. Any beef with a nice piece of bone in it and a little bit of meat on the outside is perfect. Liberally season one side of your beef shanks with salt. Into a heavy bottom pot, heat a couple tablespoons of olive oil on high heat until it starts to let off a little bit of steam. Then carefully put your seasoned side of your meat down into the oil. And now you can season the other side. Once your meat is nice and caramelized on one side, flip it over and sear the other side. Now add in 1 quartered onion. Once your meat has seared perfectly, take it out of the pan and stir those onions around to start adding more flavor. This beautiful caramelization is what we're looking for. Take your onions out of the pan and add in 125 milliliters of good quality red wine. Now use that wine to scrape all of those beautiful brown bits off the bottom of our pot. Once your wine starts to have that sticky syrupy quality, you can add the meat and the onions back in, along with any juices that have run off of them. It will only take a minute or two for some of those juices from the meat to start releasing, and our wine will look a lot thinner. That's when you know it's time to add in your water. Turn the heat to medium-high, add in 2 bay leaves and a handful of peppercorns.
We're going to put the lid on and let it simmer for about 2 to 3 hours. We don't want this to boil, just a gentle simmer. Once your beef stock has been simmering for a few hours, remove the beef, taking it off the bone, and leave the bones in, letting it simmer another hour or so. The beef is very tender at this point, but we don't need it for this recipe, so I'm going to set it aside and use it for something else, like tacos.
Now that our beef bones have been simmering for another hour, we're going to strain it through a mesh sieve. And as always, I make a little bit of a mess.
And now to make our French onion soup.
Here's what you'll need.
I'm using 2.5 kilograms of onions. Mostly yellow onions, but a few red and a few shallots just to add a little bit of different texture and flavor. You'll want to slice them into a medium thickness.
You can slice it by hand, but I find it much easier to use a food processor if you have one. Into our heavy bottom pot goes 100 grams of unsalted butter, and we're just going to let that melt down and get nice and bubbly. Now in go all of our onions. I know it looks like a lot, but they really do cook down. Give them a good stir, coating them all with that butter. You can season your onions quite liberally here, a few pinches, to help them start to release their water and to caramelize. The secret to perfect caramelized onions is patience. While the onions are cooking, we'll prepare our bread. Typically, you'll find rounds of bread like this in a French onion soup, but today we're going to make croutons because I hate fighting through the bread trying to get down into those delicious onions. I'm going to drizzle our croutons with a little bit of our beef fat from our stock from earlier, but you can use butter or olive oil here if that's what you have on hand. Give them a pinch of salt, stir them all up so that they're completely coated, and pop them in the oven. These will cook at 200 degrees Celsius or 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 5 to 10 minutes or until they're nice and golden brown. You can see here we have a little bit of caramelization on the bottom of our pot, so we're going to add in a little bit of that white wine just to help deglaze. The whole process of cooking down your onions will take about an hour, but I promise the flavor is worth it. Once the onions are just about finished, grate in 3 cloves of garlic. Now add in some fresh thyme and 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. Continue to let that cook down. Once they're nice and golden, pull your croutons out of the oven and just let them cool. Grate yourself some Gruyere cheese to top your soup. I use about 50 grams per person. Give your onions a little taste and season as necessary. Once your onions are cooked to the point where you still have a little bit of texture, but some of the onions have become very creamy, add in the rest of your wine. Now add in about a liter of that beef stock that we made earlier. Finally, finish off your soup with 2 tablespoons of brandy or Calvados. Now ladle your soup into an oven-proof dish. Top with your croutons, and then sprinkle that cheese over the top and under the broiler until your cheese gets bubbly and brown.
Thanks so much for watching. If you want to try out another recipe, how about this one here? And make sure to subscribe just here. Please give this video a big thumbs up and make sure to comment down below. We'll see you next time.